Good evening, fight fans.
We're live.
It's Tuesday, September 10th. We're live. We got Steve here and myself, Matt. We're waiting for our guests to come on, but we thought we'd start with something new that we haven't done before. This what do they call it? This segment is called Fighters Who Should Delete Their Instagram Accounts. And I'm going to start with Oscar De La Hoya. We loved him as a fighter. But man, this guy, I don't know, and I can't blame it on anything, but he just smack talks everyone, and he's saying how he's going to go watch UFC instead of watching the Canelo Berlanga fight. Who's he kidding?
Yeah.
Watch that fight. And Dana White comes back and says, where's he going to get his tickets from? I'm not giving him tickets. Even Dana's mad at Oscar De La Hoya, so he's got my vote. Mike, you know any fighters that should delete their Instagram accounts?
I don't really pay attention to fighters' Instagram accounts, so I couldn't tell you. But I can say, as far as Oscar's concerned, he's earned whatever he wants to do because he was one of the greatest fighters of all time. So if he wants to smack talk people, let him do whatever he wants, man.
Yeah, he's silly though. He's silly about it. He's silly, I tell you.
Yeah, no, I've seen him, especially all the trash talking he does against Canelo.
Okay.
He signs off with an FU Canelo almost every time.
But yeah, I understand the history and all that, and but still. And then in between that, he'll show up, he'll do these posts where he's in his underwear and he's talking, like, come on, man. Nobody wants to see that.
I'm with you. All right.
What about you, Steve? You see any horrible Instagrams lately that you want to? Nah.
I've seen a bunch of sites that I'd like to emulate. There's a lot of, I don't know. I put up a fighting video on Instagram, and they say, "Sorry, you can't monetize this video. It doesn't go with our monetization policy." But then again, I saw it on another site and they are getting millions of hits on it. So I don't know how that works, but.
All right. I definitely don't want to lose the attention of the viewers. We'll definitely circle back to this at the end of the show, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
We could do that.
Go ahead, Mike. Talk to us.
Go ahead, Mike. Introduce.
Let's do this thing, man. I want to make sure we got the people paying attention, all right? So I'll just go right into it. So I'm going to say it like this. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to TFNsanity. I am Mike Feinberg, and with me, as always, are the other parts of the tripod, which make up the fighting news. Steven and Leo. What's up, guys?
What's up?
How are you, Mike?
I'm doing all right, man. I'm doing all right. I'm a little late to the party here, but I made it. Okay. It's just it's not easy sometimes with these times, but do what I can.
Right. So we're waiting for our guest, Mr. Dino Spencer. We know he's a busy guy, and he'll be chiming in. But I just want to say I went to a pretty good.
He's waiting, Matt. He's waiting. He's in our guest room.
Oh well, Mike, do your intro then.
Oh, let me keep on going. And all right, it's more than informative. It's going to include a special guest who we just mentioned is behind stage. Listen, back in 1950, Angelo and Chris Dundee opened a boxing gym in Miami Beach. It was located right along 5th Street, and born was the name, 5th Street Gym. It eventually expanded to what was then referred to as the world-famous 5th Street Gym, and it became a staple in Miami Beach, with some of boxing's most famous world champions and celebrities having trained there and having been visited by millions as a feature attraction out in the area. After its closure in 1993, in what became a bustling area, the gym reopened just around the corner from its original location, kept its name, as well as its integrity. Our guest tonight had himself become a staple in the world of boxing as the co-owner and head trainer at the current 5th Street Boxing Gym. He's with us tonight to talk a bit about his story of how he came to be a part of his history and what's currently happening at the gym. Finally, he will talk to us about who is currently training at his gym and a couple of the upcoming bouts for which he's training these fighters. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the co-owner and head trainer at 5th Street Gym in Miami Beach, Dino Spencer.
Let's get him. What's up, Dino?
Here he is.
Hey,
Can you hear us? Can you hear us?
hear us, Dino? He's moving a little bit now. Dino, you there? You hear us?
He might be getting a phone call. No audio.
No audio.
Can you hear us? No. Log back out. Log back out and come back in. Come back in.
Is he muted?
No, he's not muted. So we're gonna try him again. Can you hear us now? Can you hear? No.
He needs to sign out and come back.
Okay.
Send him a quick text. Log off. Log on.
Take your earphones. Take the plug out. Take your earphones out. Take your earphones out. Okay, let's try this again. No earphones. No earphones. No earphones. Pull it out. Out. Pull it out. Can you hear us now?
Tell him to completely sign out. Sign back in.
All right.
You hear
Sign
us?
out. Sign back in. All right, I'll just boot him. So,
Look.
Well, that's Dino Spencer, everyone. He will be back with us shortly, we hope.
yes. So he's gonna log back in.
Come on. I get easy trivia question for you, Steve. Okay? Who outside of the original Fifth Street Gym in Miami?
Muhammad Ali. Oh,
Now
There he is.
hey!
Hey.
What's up, Dino?
Hi guys, how you doing?
There he is.
All right. How you doing,
all
Dino?
right. Look, hey, welcome.
Good. Sorry about the
Welcome
technical
again. It's Dino
difficulties.
Spencer.
Hey, nice.
Hey, Dino, what's
No
going on?
worries.
Everything is really good. Good. Just got back from Thailand, training at Bang Tao MMA and Muay Thai.
Yeah, that's what we wanted to talk to you about. But first of all, Mike just went over the whole history of Fifth Street Gym. How is it that a boxing trainer like yourself, how do you even get into the Muay Thai stuff?
They started having a class. We just to grow our membership, we started having a class. And I did martial arts as a kid, competed in karate tournaments, kickboxing tournaments, things like that. And that's actually how I got involved in boxing. I had a real talented kid that was kickboxing and doing well. And I could see he's going to never make any money. So we started him boxing. He won the Golden Gloves in Chicago, first 4-round fights, all first-round knockouts. And he went on to make a little money as a pro. He got signed by Don King. He started at 26 years old. So people saw that I could train a kid that he didn't know how to make a fist when I met him. Now he was 6'4", he was 250 with a six-pack, but he never threw a punch in his life. And we got him to be very competitive, and he made a living both as a fighter and a sparring partner. And I got some credit for that. And then one thing led to another. We worked with Fresno Kendo. We got him to the title fight. Angelo Dundee and I became friends, and we reopened the Fifth Street Gym.
Nice. And the rest is history.
That's it.
So
What was the first fighter's name? What was the first?
Carl Davis Jr. He was a heavyweight / cruiserweight.
Nice.
Carl Davis Jr.
Yeah.
Right. So tell us about your trip to Thailand. That sounds, at once it sounds exotic, but it also sounds like you got some good training in there,
Yes. Well, typically I spend the summer with my cousins in Sicily and gain weight. So I have gained too much weight over the last few years, and I really couldn't snap myself out of it. One of my number one students that I train every morning is the chef of the Carbone Major Food Group, and he invites me to his restaurants very often. And I'm just so lucky to be invited everywhere, and people are so kind to me, except for it's not good for my health. So to combat that, I told my wife we are going to Thailand. She was like, "What? Thailand?" She was completely shocked by the idea. It was her and my daughter, and they both train at the gym. My daughter does jujitsu. We have a jujitsu gym, a Fight Sports. I'm partners with Cyborg down the block from Fifth Street Gym, and we train there together. So we do train. Just we go to too many restaurants and eat out too much. So we made this plan to go there. We spent 27 days there. We woke up every day. We had breakfast in the gym. They have a ringside cafe there, which was delicious with very healthy food choices that I've been doing my best to mimic since I've been back. And then we took a strength conditioning class, and then we took a nap. So I didn't have my appointments like I do all day. I didn't have to hold pads for fighters all day. I took a nap. We had another nutritious lunch, and then we took either a Muay Thai private or Muay Thai class, and then we took jiu-jitsu class at night. And we did that most days. But the third full day of training, I am 53, almost 54, and I was in a Muay Thai. Like I asked the coach after I took the class, "Can I take the sparring class? It's like a pro-am class." After he held pets for me, he's like, "Yeah, sure, go ahead." So I took the class, and I have an 18-year-old Polish kid who's a professional fighter. He's 3-0. I wish I could pronounce his name for you. And we're doing drills, and I'm landing at will, and I can't believe it. And I'm feeling myself like more than I possibly should or could. And they said that the coach yells out 50 knees on each other. We're just drilling primarily, 50 knees on each other, and then put your mouth guards in the spar. I'm like, man, I am all over this. I can't wait. So I get to about 30 knees. I put my knee down and I tear my meniscus because I'm 53 and I have no business being in this class. So I tear my meniscus. I fall down. The poor kid, like I said, I was like roughing him up. And even though that was the case, when I went down, he felt so bad for me. He ran to my aid. He got the coaches. They got my wife. And they took me essentially to the doctor to get it, to get it checked out. And it was so pleasant that I limped in. I signed my name on a piece of paper. I limped in directly into the office. A doctor came in 5 seconds later, wiggled my knee, twisted my knee, said, "I'm pretty sure you tore your meniscus and you probably tore your PCL as well, but we need an MRI. It'll cost you $100, and you can get one in a couple days." But in the meantime, she wrote on a piece of paper, not a prescription. She wrote on a piece of paper, BPC 157 and TB 500 peptides. I start shooting my knee up, and a couple days later, I could walk. A couple days later, I could do strength training. A couple days later, I was back in taking Thai boxing privates, where it was still limited. And by the end of 10 days, I was back to full training, taking jiu-jitsu class and everything else. My knee doesn't feel 100%, but it's 90%.
Yeah.
That's still an incredible recovery time for a torn meniscus, you know?
So I never got the MRI to know how bad it was torn. I was feeling too good. It didn't matter to me at that point. I was so worried that I spent all this money and all this time.
Yeah.
And with the intention, I have a big mouth. I was telling everyone I was going there to get in shape and lose weight. I wound up losing 24 pounds. I probably might have lost more if I didn't have that slow week. So other than that, it was really a great experience. The food was really good. The Western food was out of this world. We had one of the best tomahawk steaks I've ever had in my life. My daughter, who's only 7, but she's been to a million steakhouses, said it's the best filet she's ever had. The people couldn't have been any nicer. And Bang Tao is owned by Americans and Brits, and they were very nice, very accommodating, very welcoming. They put me on their social media, and they paid I felt like they paid a lot of attention to me as a student. Again, I'm an old man, so they're not going to win any medals with me. So they were very, very, just really, I had a great time. They really treated me well.
So what takeaways, Dino, did you receive at that gym that you can bring back to Fifth Street Gym? Because they they train a lot harder than the gyms in the United States. Like their regiment.
Well, we both have the super heat and humidity.
Yeah.
So that affects that when people say they go there and trained hard, it didn't bother me, but it does bother like Australians, British fighters, American fighters from the north. They really a regular workout doesn't seem like a regular workout when it's 90 degrees with 90% humidity.
Yeah.
So
Right.
it's not that they don't train that much. I wouldn't say that much harder. They train longer, and they expect you to just volunteer for all these classes. They have classes all day long. So in your strength and conditioning class, there's pro fighters of all sorts, MMA fighters, Thai boxers, Western style Dutch kickboxers. They're in your class. And then you a couple hours later, you're in the sparring class. A couple of hours later, you're in jiu-jitsu class, and they're there. So they expect you to do 3 workouts a day for sure. They expect you to run, but nothing crazy. It wasn't that like I'll tell you, a lot of the privates, they would leave me bouncing on a rubber tire for a really long time until my calves were ready to fall off. And all the fighters, the pro Thai fighters, spent a lot of time on the tires.
Yeah. Were you able to go see? Did they have any matches there?
They did have matches there, but it was in the party central part of it. Bang Tao is by the beach, and it's very family oriented, very calm. There's nothing to do really but train, go to the beach, and eat in a few restaurants. Up, I guess south, I think. The further south you go, the beaches get more popular, more attractions, and more party, and that's where the fights were. So I never went late, and my body clock, I'll tell you, the jet lag was terrible. I was falling asleep at like 7 or 8 o'clock, like right after class. I would eat dinner and fall asleep, and getting 12 hours sleep, which I never get 12. I don't get 6 here. And since I've been home though, I've gotten like 8 or 9 hours sleep. It's been very helpful with resetting my clock. So the takeaways are I learned technique, I learned class structure, I learned different styles of training. I did privates with many different pros that have high level fighters and have won championships themselves, and they were all really different in pace with mitts. Some guys would really be really sticklers on making me pivot my foot. Some guys wouldn't mention at all. They were more worried about making me work and do five kicks from the same leg, 6 kicks from the same leg, and some guys would stop me and correct every little detail. So all those were very beneficial. We're adding class to our schedule because of what I learned. So we're going to add Thai boxing classes and strength and conditioning classes instead of just boxing and fitness classes.
Nice.
Nice. We'll have to make the trip down there, right, Steve?
And it's 80% off. It's like 80% off life. Like anything you'd buy that costs $100 only costs 20. Things that cost 10 cost 2. A bottle of sparkling water costs 24 cents. It was unbelievable, the price. The people were so nice and sweet and appreciative.
No wonder you lost all that weight.
I'm sorry?
No wonder you lost all that weight.
Yes, exactly.
They didn't have much food for you.
Yeah, no kidding. But like I said, I don't love Thai food, but the Western food was really good. They took me to an Italian restaurant. The chef was from Italy. It was actually very good as well. The prices were cheap. And now we're back to, I'm trying to incorporate as much as I can with our pro fighters here and our students here at 5th Street.
Did you learn any like new techniques or things that you didn't know about Muay Thai from there? Like
I learned a lot more about clinching than I ever knew, about tripping. It's very judo-like, more than I ever realized.
Yeah.
And a lot of foot sweeps, a lot of trips. Those things, I really, really enjoyed that a lot. I thought it was very interesting, and it would make. I know boxers would look at Thai boxers and think if they could just deal with that hard leg kick, they could get inside and have their way with them. But it wouldn't be that. It really would not be that easy because that off balance makes a big difference, and they really have good control with both the clinch and the foot sweeps.
Yeah, the leg kicks take getting used to, huh?
Yeah, definitely take getting used to. I have, I'm not skinny even after 24 pounds, and I got big legs. So, maybe that might have been the easiest part of it. The hardest part of it was in the clinch. I really had trouble in the clinch, getting having really little guys toss me, take me for a ride. That was really challenging.
Yeah.
So
So
we
it
have
was-
a great boxing event coming up. Canelo versus Belenga. It's
Yep.
coming up. What do you think about that fight? It's gonna go down.
Berlanga's been to our gym. He's a very nice guy, and he's accomplished a lot more than most fighters ever do. But that being said, seems like he's really aggravating Canelo. And the last guy that really aggravated Canelo got his face busted up. And
Yeah,
I think it's just a matter of rounds. I think actually I'm going to put $100 on the seventh round. I think he's going to put him away. Berlanga's got power, and Canelo's human. I understand all that, but that being said, I think I'm going to put $100 on Canelo in the seventh.
to knock him out in the seventh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we have a fighter, 11-0 kid that Nikolai Schwab from Kazakhstan that just signed with CES, and he's making his debut with them at the Mohegan Sun November 2nd. And we're
Nice.
very excited about his debut with them. He's been looking unbelievable in sparring. I've had him bounce on the tire like more than he wants to since I've been back from Thailand, and we're really excited about getting this done, getting him on the road. He's been in the ring with sparring with a lot of champs at Fifth Street, and he's really got a lot of potential. We're very excited.
Awesome.
Awesome.
What about Mikhalian? How's he doing? He's fighting on that Don King card, right?
Yeah, he's solid as a rock. He's the guy's just cold. He's ice. He just goes about his routine, does his job, doesn't ask any questions. If you tell him to do 10 rounds, he'll do the 10 rounds. If you want him to do 6, he'll do the 6. He just does his job, shows up, and I think he'll win easy.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll be at that show. We're looking forward to it.
Yeah,
The Don King always puts on a good event,
yeah, it's always fun, those shows.
Yeah, yeah. Who else you got going on at your gym?
As far as the pros go, really just those two guys right now. We have an opportunity to maybe sign the Italian heavyweight that was in the Olympics, and we're looking at some other options, some Cubans. But right now, there's been a little bit of a drought at Fifth Street because since COVID, it's so expensive to live in Miami that a manager to pay for him to live in the neighborhood of the gym is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
It's way too expensive. So when Muhammad Ali lived there and it was a retirement community, it was pennies on the dollar. And even pre-COVID, it was affordable. The best thing about Miami Beach, where the gym is, was rent was always really good. But since COVID, rent and all the New Yorkers have moved down, the rent has skyrocketed and really puts managers in tough spots where they can afford. I'll tell you, if I was a fighter, I would definitely do a pre-camp. Maybe I couldn't afford to bring my whole team, but I would definitely go to Bang Tao and do a pre-camp, get myself in really good shape and really fit and really healthy, get my weight end point, and then come back and maybe do the last 4 weeks or whatever it is. Especially for an MMA fighter, they offer everything. But even for a boxer, they have a boxing class every day with some good athletes that you can drill with and work with. And there's a running program. There's a strength and conditioning program. You could start your camp in super good shape, with still 8 weeks to go or 4 weeks to go before your fight.
Yeah. If the fighters get that long to notice.
Prepare,
yeah. Prepare.
Or they could just go and be in shape, and when they get the phone call, they're there already. They're already in shape. They don't have, again, it's so cheap. Like if I was fighting, that's where I would go, because the $5,000 is like $50,000. I mean, I can't express enough how you can live. Like if you eat at mom and pop shop, we eat at the gym every day, which is a little more westernized. If you eat at little mom and pop restaurants, like dinner is like $3 or $4. So it would to eat healthy, to eat like chicken breast and vegetables, it's like $2. So a fighter can really have a really good, inexpensive camp at Bang Tao and be by the beach, and really, and massages are $12. like a full-on Thai massage where they're stretching. The poor lady was sweating, working on me every day. But for $12, you couldn't turn it down, and she would really make you help you recover at
Yeah.
my age. So imagine if you're a 25-year-old kid and you're getting 2 or 3 of those a week. I mean, Mayweather's getting service like that. Nobody else is. So it would really benefit a fighter a lot. I don't suggest they leave their team because their coaches probably have other responsibilities. But maybe as a pre-camp, they could really benefit.
How long did it take, and what was the price to fly there?
The flight was 13 hours to Dubai. There
13
was a
hours.
3-hour layover, but it was cut in half because my Miami flight, of course, had to leave late. And then it was 13 hours from Dubai to Phuket, where Bang Tao is. Bang Tao is the beach in Phuket. And coming back was a little rougher. It was 8 hours to Dubai and 15 hours back to Miami. That was rough. That was $1,500 a ticket. But then the hotel room, which was like a studio apartment with a pool, was $31 a night.
That's crazy.
That's with a king size bed so that me, my wife, and daughter all could sleep in. A fighter doesn't even need that. He could get a room for probably $15 a night or maybe $10 a night.
Yeah.
And really, like I said, have a really effective either pre-camp or hopefully, even the coach can afford to go, really, depending on his responsibilities. Wouldn't be too expensive to bring your coach all the way there.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be a great experience and, great vacation too.
Yeah, not to mention on the weekends, my daughter and I got to play with elephants. We rubbed mud all over them and washed them and fed them. And then we went and pet a live cheetah, while other people, too long of a wait, but you could also pet like a 1,500-pound tiger. And I was going to, but and I thought the animals were drugged because they were so lazy and relaxed. It was like a little Indonesian guy with a stick that was the trainer. And I thought, well, he must be drugged because if he wants to get up, there's nothing to stop him. So I was watching these people pet the tiger, and then he had like a few minutes off. The tiger jumped off his table that he was laying on, getting pet on, went over to another tiger on the other side of the room and started slapping him. He looked like a little cat. He had that kind of speed and agility. If he wanted to rip the faces of the people that were petting him, there would have been nothing stopping him. They must be well trained.
Yeah, that's crazy that they let people near tigers.
The cheetah was so intense. To look at the cheetah, at arm's distance, I'm petting the cheetah, and to look at the cheetah in the eyes was intense. I mean, that is a serious predator.
Yeah, and they're fast.
Yeah, way faster than me.
Fastest land animal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but it's amazing. It's an amazing place, both for vacation, but really for training. There's only so much. I mean, we couldn't have vacationed 27 days there. There's only so many beaches you could see, waterfalls you could see. I mean, there's only so much. But we had a schedule, and we were on it. Strength and conditioning, Thai boxing, jiu-jitsu. Other than that, I couldn't have done. Not for me. I couldn't have done anything else.
Yeah, and the people are really, really down to earth. They're really nice, right?
The people are beyond down to earth, and the Bang Tao British and American people also were very accommodating. I think it looked like no one cares what kind of watch you're wearing, what kind of car you're driving, and what kind of gloves you brought. None of that mattered. It mattered that you showed up on time, you worked hard, you said please and thank you, you paid your bill, which was very low. The training was $1,000 for, $400 for the month, I think, was the training for unlimited classes. And the private sessions with the really high level world champion coaches were $22 a piece.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, I charged $250 for a private lesson. They were doing it for $22. It was great.
You're paying the Miami rent,
Yeah, exactly. They're not paying the And the gym is mostly outside. It's like steel girders and then an aluminum frame. So it's mostly it doesn't have 4 walls. It's got usually 3 walls. And they had one that was just strength and conditioning with the hard rubber mats and a lot of barbells and dumbbells and pull-up racks and squat racks. They had another room that had 2 rings in it and the puzzle mats with Thai boxing bags all the way around. They that had very nice brand new Fuji mats with a brand new cage in it that would accommodate like 50 pairs of people doing jiu-jitsu, so 100 people could fit on the mat. They had another upstairs room where the kids, my daughter did jiu-jitsu, a smaller room, which is still bigger than our jiu-jitsu facility here in South Beach. And so they had massive amounts of space. Cold plunge, I must have did 10 cold plunges while I was there. They were awesome, but real ice. It's not like chilled water like I do here in the States. They have the ice company drop off ice and fill the tub. You punch it to break it up, put water in until it gets to be like 36 degrees. I don't know, 37. It wasn't in the 40s, that was for sure. But it really helped recovery a lot.
Oh, I've seen guys here just dump ice in a garbage pail and
Yeah.
fill it up, and that's their cold plunge.
Yeah, it works though. It works any way you can get it done. It works. I felt like it helped. Now again, everybody was younger than me there. Everybody. I mean, there were some killers in there. And when I would roll with them, or they were very, they didn't try to break my neck. And I was with a black belt from Atos, that's a undefeated MMA fighter, and he couldn't have been any nicer. It was, everybody, even a lot of Europeans of different descent that had a lot of different accents and didn't necessarily speak English, couldn't have been any nicer. Sparring drills with them or rolling with them, everybody was great. My wife had a funny incident. She's a white belt in jiu-jitsu, maybe 20 classes, and she took beginner jiu-jitsu. So she had her brand new gi on that she bought there at the facility, and she had a brand new white belt on that was sticking straight out. And there was a Japanese woman there in a very crispy white gi with no patches and a brown belt, clearly advanced and very fit. We've seen her in the strength and conditioning classes, deadlifting twice her body weight. I mean, a real athlete. And my wife, they were doing a drill where they had to basically get the back from standing and just lock the waist. That was the drill. Whoever could lock the waist wins the drill, and you bow, shake, and you start again, you do it again. Well, this girl squatted down and was very intense. My wife thought, oh no, I'm in for it now. The girl secured her waist, got behind her, and suplexed her over her shoulder and dumped my wife on her head. And my wife bounced back up and did it again. But she found out later that she spoke zero English, so probably didn't understand that the drill is not to dump your partner on your head.
Yeah, that's usually the instruction in the gym, right?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
And make you sign waivers over there.
She finished the class, so she lived.
Nice.
So Dino, what is your most memorable moment being a trainer at Fifth Street Gym?
Wow. My most memorable moment is hanging around with Muhammad Ali. He came in the day the grand opening, 2010. He came for the grand opening, and then it was the place it was actually in the original address of the new building, and it was a madhouse. And there was 300 members of the press there. The mayor came. We did a ribbon cutting ceremony. Angela was there. There was 10 world champions, actors, supermodels. It was overwhelming.
Wow.
I couldn't believe that I threw a party that turned out like this. Now, granted, they all came from Muhammad, not for me, and I'm not confused. Right. But nevertheless, the last minute before Muhammad was coming, someone offered to use. He said he could only fly private. And then when they saw the private plane, they said it's too small for him. He's not coming. And a friend of mine, who's not my best friend by any stretch of the imagination, but a friend, said, what happened? I said, oh, Muhammad can't come because they can't get him here. He goes, how much is a private jet? He goes, I go, 25,000 to fly him from, I think, Louisville. And he said, put it on my American Express card. So he put it on his card. It took me 5 years because I didn't have the money. It took me 5 years to pay the guy back. And he never complained. He never said a word about it. So the gym created, he wanted Muhammad there as bad as I did.
Yeah.
And it created a scenario that wouldn't have happened under any other circumstances. So after all this hoopla and everything else, the fire department team said, you let one more person in, I'm shutting you down, because it was packed. Wow. And the former mayor came up to the door and I said, I can't let you in. The guy hasn't spoken to me since. He was so mad I wouldn't let him in. And he used to train and spar with Muhammad back at the original Fifth Street Gym in the 60s. But the
Oh,
fireman is standing right there and said, "You let one more guy in," and he's looking right at him. So all this craziness is going on. I asked the next day. I asked people to come and help me clean, and Lazar Stojadinovic, one of my MMA fighters, Tony Christodoulou, another one, a fighter that we had in the UFC, my mom, my sister, my partner Tom Sadis were the only ones that volunteered to come and clean the next day. And
wow.
out of the blue, Mohammed showed up, and he sat on a tire. We have a big like tractor tire, and he sat there and he told us stories about all the black and white pictures of him. He remembered every last scenario. He
Wow.
talked to us for 2 hours, telling
That's,
us all the stories about who those people were, what was going on that day. He told us other stories that are so off color I couldn't even tell you now. He could get away with it, but I couldn't.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
it was unbelievable.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really great. And since then, nothing was obviously nothing can compare to that. But
Right.
since then, just so many world champions. We had a Christmas party. Tyson Fury came with his kids with no shirts on, presidential Rolexes on. He was dressed in Versace from head to toe. He showed up to our Christmas party. I said, "Champ, what are you doing here?" He said, "I'm in Miami Beach. I got to come to the Fifth Street Gym." And he sat next to Santa Claus. We had Santa Claus there for the kids. He sat next to Santa Claus, and more people sat on his lap and took pictures with him than they did with Santa Claus. And he stood there the whole time,
Oh,
never rushed. The whole time exchanged phone numbers with me. That was the only interaction I had with him. Exchanged phone numbers with me. And now if I text him, he responds. I don't even know if he knows who I am. He responds instantly. I say, "Oh, the Fifth Street Gym pulling for you in your next fight." He's like, "Thank you very much. My phone's gonna be off for the next couple days, but I appreciate it." Like within like seconds. Like
nice.
I'm such a boxing fan that had the heavyweight champion of the world respond to my message,
Yeah.
even at my age, is beyond flattering.
Nice. And does your daughter know? Did your daughter know who he was before that?
She was Tyson or Muhammad.
Tyson.
We watched the fights together, so she knew, but she was really little. She was,
Yeah.
5 then. I don't think she cared. I think she knew he was the champ, but I don't think
Right.
it mattered to her much. But
Right.
she
Right.
trained in Thailand. She trained as well. She did Thai boxing 2 or 3 days a week, and she did jiu-jitsu 2 or 3 days a week. They have a nice kids program.
That's awesome. That's awesome. But they weren't like kicking banana trees or anything there in Thailand, were they?
No, there was no banana tree kicking at all. There was it was, we have a coach, a coach, Jorge Vargas, that is our Thai boxing coach here. He's Colombian. He used to play baseball as like in the minors, and he's been in love with Thai boxing for the last like 30 years, and he's our coach, and he holds pads in a very, very similar rhythm. All the techniques that we worked on, like it wasn't like, so I trained with him for like 2 months before I went, and I felt very comfortable with all the things that he taught me and things that different coaches had different rhythms, but it was very, very, very similar. And now the Thai boxing program is really growing in our gym. It's very exciting.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah. And
You
they
know, we're
have
in Palm Beach County, but I'd like to go down there and check it out.
You guys are always welcome. We'd love to have you. I'm pretty sure there's some press conferences coming up soon, and I'm so flattered when Tank Davis or anybody else uses the gym for a press conference. I'm so glad to have those guys. I'm still a boxing fan at heart, so
Yeah.
we love having them, and you guys are obviously always welcome.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
The last invite I took you up on was when Peter Quinlan was in your gym.
Oh yeah, that was great. I love training Peter. Guy had rocks in both hands. He his manager called me up and said, "I heard you specialize in people losing weight." And I said, "Well, I can get guys to. I mean, I like specialize. There's 1,000 guys that do stuff like that." He's like, "Well, can someone lose 30 pounds in 30 days?" I said, "Yeah, sure, no problem." He said, "No problem. You get on the next plane to New York." So I went to New York to train Peter, and in like 7 days, he lost 7 pounds. Like it was nothing. It was
Damn.
so easy. I told him what to eat. It was no problem. And then, like 3 days in a row, he was stuck. So I went to his house to cook for him. And I heard him like, the poor guy, the poor wife, like sleeping on the couch. I go, "You know what? I'm going to stay." He's like, "No, no, really. You don't have to stay." I'm like, "No, I'm going to stay and cook you breakfast." And the wife was like, "Very nice here. You can sleep on our couch." blah, blah, blah. They were very accommodating and warm and friendly. And I hear some noise. So I take the couch and put it in front of Peter's door. He is fully dressed, out to club, trying to step over my couch. And then his cologne is so strong it wakes me up. I'm like, I look, I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm going for a walk. I going for a walk like that? Are you kidding me? Get back to bed.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
So once we stopped, so obviously that's why he stopped making weight. And we got him back on track, and he defended his title, no problem, made weight. He actually came in the lightest he's ever come in, and he made weight and defended his title.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a good story, man.
Yeah, he's a good kid. I had a MMA fighter sparring with him for lack of sparring partners in New York because I don't know people there like I do here. So the kid comes up to me who used to fight him with 4-ounce gloves. He says, "Coach, you got to check out something's in his gloves." I said, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Every punch on my skull, on my top of my head, I have lumps. You have to look at his gloves." I said, "I wrapped his hands myself. I know he was wearing regular like ringside wraps and with a little tape on his wrist and
Yeah.
brand new 16-ounce winning gloves. He's got rocks in both hands. He could have even, in my opinion, I'm a big fan. I think he could have done even more than he did, but he got himself a little lost with the management and not the management, but the promotion."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was a great talker.
Yeah,
He was really entertaining.
yeah, he's a fun guy. He's great to go out with. He's great to be in camp with, have lunch with. He's a great guy. He really is. He's super nice.
What's he up to these days? I haven't heard anything.
I think he's a trainer. I think he does like personal training for like celebrity CEOs, stuff like that. Kind of the same thing that I do in New
Okay.
York. Yeah, I think he's at. I hate to miss, but I think it's Trinity is where he does the coaching at.
All right.
Yeah, but I know
Nice.
people like him a lot. He obviously knows what he's doing. He's a former middleweight champ of the world, so he's got a lot to offer.
Yeah, I saw Ivan Branchik a couple of weeks ago. Actually, maybe 2 or 3 months ago, before the Teofimo Lopez fight. And I remember he used to be at your gym a lot.
Yes, he's also brought clients in that he trained. He's also brought fighters in he trained. He also would train himself. He'd come and spar. Nice kid. Very
Yeah.
nice. Very polite.
What happened to what's his name? Toretto.
Poor Danny. He was like a son to me, and he still is. And he lost a fight, which was no problem. He got stopped, and it wasn't the end of the world. And then he then the price of Miami got really, really expensive. So he was going to only live here for camp instead of living here full time. And he was in Europe. He was in Italy, and he was sparring. And after sparring, he told his coach, "I can't hear out of my left ear." And the coach said, I think the owner of the gym said, "Oh, well, take a shower and I'll take you to the doctor." And he turned around. He said, "I can't feel the left side of my body." And he passed out. And he had a brain bruise that created a lot of swelling, where they cut a chunk of his head off and put it on the side to allow his brain to swell and reduce back to normal.
Oh,
And they said there was no brain damage, but he's having a really hard time relearning everything.
yeah.
Yeah, he's just walking again. The last time was in Italy was in May, and he was just walking again. He's having a really hard time, but he always trained hard. He always had a lot of heart. So I'm sure it's going to eventually get him back to not boxing, but back to normal.
Yeah. So they expect him to recover.
They expect him to recover, but just slow and long. The nerves, I guess, damaged just is really slow, especially his right hand has really been a slow recovery.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
But he's talking. When last time I was there, he's translating Spanish to English back to Italian. So his brain's working. It's just getting his body back is going to take some time.
And how was Muhammad Ali when he came to your gym? Was he perfect sentences, or was he?
No, well, here's the deal. At the end there, he would take medicine to stop him from shaking. It would tighten him up. It would also tighten up his throat. So he would talk really slow and really, it was very, very challenging for him to talk. So
Yeah.
whenever you saw him talk in public, He was, he was very limited. He just couldn't move. But when we were at his house or the next day at the gym, he didn't have to. He wasn't on camera, so he didn't take the medicine. So he shook a lot, but he
Yeah.
talked a lot more like him to talk. I mean, not like he did in the 70s, but he was a lot better, and that's how he got to tell us all those stories.
Yeah, so I got a memorabilia from Muhammad Ali. So this is his handprint.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Very cool. He's got big hands.
Yeah, he's got big hands.
Yeah.
This was given to me by Sam Cohen, who at your event he was there.
Yes, I know Sam.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
So Sam did that for the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame.
That's very cool.
Yeah. So he gave me
I used to walk with Muhammad, and he would use me like a crutch. He'd lean. I'd hold my palm up and kind of lock my arm, and he'd put his palm on top of my hands. And I don't have big hands, and he would and he was a big, even old, big and strong. He was so, I mean, even old and sick, he was still big and strong, and his forearms had veins in them, and his hands were big, and he would squeeze my hand, and man, I could feel it. He was a really unique athlete.
Yeah.
I wish I could have saw him. Obviously, when I was too little to really appreciate him.
Yeah. Who do you think today is like a Muhammad Ali of the time, like so beloved by everybody? Like who do you think could ever fill his shoes? They're just
I think he's a once in a lifetime guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't see that ever happening in even any sport. Even I guess Michael Jordan came close. Being so international,
Yeah.
being such a big star, but not as nice of a guy. So he's turned a lot of people off. You don't hear stories about Michael being super nice.
Yeah.
And doing favors and signing autographs and staying along. And I mean, he's I'm from Chicago originally. He's the greatest basketball player of all time as far as I'm concerned. That being said, I work security for him. Not warm and fuzzy. When Muhammad, on the other hand, is, and they asked him the night of our event. They said, "Come on, you got to go. You can't sit in this heat. It was so hot in the gym. You can't stay here." He goes, "I'm staying here until I get to see every single person that came to see me."
Wow.
He refused to leave until he got to see, till every person got to come up there, take a picture, sit with them, say hi to him. He was not.
That's a good opening you had there.
It was unbelievable. It was one of the greatest. Forget about the memories of Fifth Street. One of the best memories of my life.
Yeah.
I mean, it was amazing.
Hi, Galila. Pink Tyson says hello.
Pink Tyson, she trains with us. She's a hard worker. She's tough as nails, boy. You don't even know. She gets in there with the guys and mixes it up and begs them to give it to her. She gets furious when they don't want to hit her hard enough.
I saw her like that.
Yeah,
I saw her like that training in I forget whose gym it was, but she didn't think the guys were giving her hard enough rounds, and she's like, nah, she's like, I need this,
No, she takes her craft very seriously. She's a professional. She's a very sweet girl. She's a little too sweet for boxing, to be honest with you. Boxing's too dirty of a sport for someone as nice as her. But she is tough as nails, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, is she coming on? Is she there? Or what's up?
She said hi, coach, on the chat.
Yeah.
Coach.
Did you send her a link?
We can get her in. We can get her in.
Yeah, I don't have a link to send her, but you guys bring her in. I love her. I'm sure she'll do a better job of getting on than I did. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, something's twirling there in the corner.
She says I'm doing great. Thank you. Thank you, Pink Tyson. What a name. That's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, she's tough. That's for sure. And she trains consistently, day in and day out. She just won her fight in Colombia a few days ago.
Oh, yeah?
Just to get back on the winning track, and she's always looking for another title shot.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was on the Don King card also. I saw that.
That was a tough night at the office.
Yeah. What, the girl from Argentina?
Yeah. But, sometimes you're the hammer and sometimes you're the nail. That's the sport that we chose.
Hi, Kalila. How you doing?
There she is.
Hey, champ, how you doing?
What's
Hi,
going
Coach.
on?
First of all, Coach Dino, no, he's not only very good coach that we know because he has a great athletes, and I'm so happy also I am under his wings. But the people they must know he do great things with kids with special abilities and people with wheelchairs. I think 1 or 2 times per week, and that is so inspirational. Forgive me if I do any mistake with my English, it's not my first language. But really, Coach Dino, he's a great coach, has professionals, amateurs, okay. But that to make him special is that job and the love to show to that kids. You can't understand, guys, how big love show to that kids. And every week they come wheelchair skins or with special abilities, but he treat them like a real athlete, never derimate them, if it's the right word. And all they feel the hospitality and the family vibes we have in 5 Street. And they will love boxing. And I think that is big inspiration.
Yeah. Well, what do you like most about going to Fifth Street Gym?
First I like is the old school vibes, and something is to fit me. Maybe the people they see that persona I have with the pink and that stuff, but on general I'm very quiet and no, I talk a lot on general, but when I train, I'm quiet. Is the old school, of course, has the history, but has very positivity. Never you see Coach Dino, no matter anything has in his personal life, maybe he has problems, in his home, maybe in his health, no matter what, never you understand, because always he's with a smile. Always he talk loud, to make us
Yeah.
wake up when we go like this in the gym, because sometimes the body don't have the motivation to train. But to see ladies, old people, 80 years old, and they love to train with Coach Dino. It's not only the boxing, okay, we know boxing is nice sport. No, it's the coach to change the game and the training. The people, they love that.
Yeah.
For real, I don't tell you lies or overtalk like to tell a coach amazing. No, if you come in the gym, you see old people, 80 years old. His mother is I didn't have idols in my life. I think I'm very strong person, but I gained an idol is his mother. For real, I promise you. I think he's near 76, 80, something like that.
She just turned 80 last week, last
Okay,
month. Yeah,
she's
she just turned
80.
80 last
She's
month.
super fit. She train every day. And sometimes when I feel lazy or big, I tell her, Kala, what the fuck? Look, ma, it's always there, train, motivated. But that, it's not only the person, it's because the master, the leader in the gym, Coach Dino, make us all to have that energy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. Thank you so much for giving him those kind words about
Yes,
No,
thank
no,
you.
he doesn't
you
need
know.
my kind words. All the people, if you ask them, they tell you exactly that. Unfortunately, I'm very straight person. I don't have filters when I talk. When you ask me if I want to tell something for Coach Gino, absolutely, because he deserves every word of my mouth.
For sure. And we got to have you come on the show before your next fight
Yes, now we talk. Coach Dino, he has arranged for me in Chicago for 26 October in Caesar. We don't sign yet because I tell you I was in Colombia now Saturday. I won by TKO. But because the biggest fight is with
Nice.
my mental health, because I taste my first loss by TKO in June, and wasn't easy journey after that. But one of the biggest reasons is Coach Dino, because I didn't show up in the gym near 6 7 weeks. But when they told me it's one girl from France, very good champion, very big than me, 20 kilos, but he told me, "Do you want to come to sparring?" Yes, I can. When I before the sparring, I cry. I tell coach, I scared because now in my head I have if I go TKO again. Before I didn't care who I spar. tell me, don't worry, go there. After some Spanish, you feel okay. I tell coach, don't tell anyone you see me to cry. I tell no, I don't see anything. Okay, like okay, and yes, and after, he wasn't my head coach because I have one coach in England that I respect, but now it's my coach and coach. We start meets and that because I needed also my time. I'm also very difficult personality. Coach Dino also is very strong personality, and because we like each other, we scared to risk that. But now I cannot imagine myself if I have a next fight, not like Colombia, was a tune-up fight. Difficult, of
Yeah.
course, but understand what I mean. Of course, will be in my corner. Because no matter what, when I see him, it's like we talk with eyes. And do you know, a great coach, I read somewhere, he can change a game plan. A good coach, but a great coach, he can change a life plan. And I need now in my life a coach like Coach Dino, because I'm experienced fighter. Okay, you can improve my technique, but that I need is someone to be leader in my life, to make me feel secure. And because he's a dad of he has amazing daughter, very charming and very multi-talent. He can see in that to me, because I'm not only Pink Tyson, I'm a little girl also, with a Hello Kids and that helped me to have a daughter. And I feel very blessed to continue my journey, because still now no one's in my prime, and now is my prime, and I'm very happy to share that with Coach Dino.
Yeah. So Dino, what does Pink Tyson need to do to be in the history books?
Stop
To,
being so hard on herself.
to go to the top of the
Stop being
top.
so when she makes mistakes like we all do, especially in athletics, she lets it bother her. She can't let things bother her. She has to just put it up as a practice. You're working on stuff. Just because someone scored a few rounds on you doesn't mean anything. Angela told me Muhammad never won one round in practice. So it really doesn't mean anything. It's just practice. And if she could just give herself a little more credit, I think these next couple fights are really gonna show who
You
she
see,
really who she really
that
is
he
and who she
tell me,
really can
he
be.
make me cry, and I feel emotional. Thank you,
Kalila,
Coach.
thank you so much for coming on. We're going to talk
Nothing.
to you
Thank you,
before your
Coach.
next
See you
fight.
tomorrow.
Okay, see you
Okay,
tomorrow.
bye.
All
Have a
right.
Thank
Bye.
you. Thank you.
I'm
So,
glad she brought up. I'm glad she brought up Boxability, the charity that we do. It's the most rewarding thing. There's a kid that fell and broke his back, and they told me he would never walk again. He is boxing at the gym. He's got these weird braces on that allow him to stand. We lean him up against the ring and put one of those water bags in front of him. And since he's been boxing, his doctors have cannot get over how much improvement he has.
wow.
Really?
It's unbelievable. He's sitting in the chair with tears in his eyes, picking up his leg, like not he's not kicking like Bruce Lee, but he's picking it up off the chair. He said, I couldn't do that before I was boxing. He
Wow.
can't get over it to the point where he's got like a lawsuit because it happened at work, and they're saying that he's faking it, that he's not was not injured as bad as he was injured because he's recovering so fast, and he doesn't care. He's like, I want to walk again. The money is irrelevant. I just want to walk again, and it's been to be a part of that. He thanks me. I can't thank him enough. To be a part of that is so much more important than winning a belt. It's unbelievable. It's very emotional. That we have a
Yeah.
lot of emotions running high at the gym.
Yeah. And tell me about what's it called again?
Boxability.
And is this you formed it?
Yeah, me and my partner Brian Roman formed it, and we Boxability International actually, and we have private donors that give us money so that we can afford to go to places and teach them basic boxing. A lot of wheelchair people, we teach them with the foam sticks like Canelo does,
Yeah.
and then the next level we teach them with the mitts, and it does a lot because when you're in the wheelchair, your life is not really your own. People tell you what time what time they're going to get you out of bed, what time we're going to do this, and what time we're going to do that. but I do it where the wheelchair is the coach, and then their brother, sister, mother, father is punching the pads,
Yeah.
and then they reverse back and forth. And it turns out the kids love the adults as well. They love being the coach. They love telling their, the whoever it is that their partner is. Sometimes it's their therapist or it's their sibling or whoever it may be. Get your hands up, and they swing back at them. And turn your fist over. All the things that I taught them, they are now teaching their family members, and they have activities together. I had a guy, a construction worker, a typical. If I had to guess, he was Polish American from Chicago. I went to hospital in Chicago, and a big guy, 6'5", 250, 270. I don't know what he was. Flannel shirt, the typical, stereotypical kind of Chicago blue collar guy. He says, "Can I talk to you?" I said, "Yeah, sure. What's wrong?" So I go outside. He goes, "I have a normal daughter." And I was like, "Okay." And his daughter was like, doesn't really engage. She wears her hair over her face, and she physically she's very limited, and I don't know. I don't get in. I don't even ask anybody what their injuries are, what their problems are. Everybody, get your hands up. Here's how you make a fist. We get rolling. So I said, I have a normal daughter. I said, "Oh, okay." He said, "But we don't. Me and my normal daughter don't really do much. We don't interact much really at all. And with this one, nothing." I was like, "Okay." And he's like, "But now we have boxing." And he picks me up off the ground. At the time, I weighed about 260. He picked me up off the ground, and he was sobbing, crying down the side of my neck, shaking me up and down, thanking me that they watch the fights together now. They hold pads for each other. They hold the sticks for each other.
Wow.
I mean, it's rewarding beyond my wildest dreams. And it all happened because one of my friends hurt himself in jiu-jitsu, broke his neck, was paralyzed. I went to visit him at the hospital, and he was doing he went from being like a brown belt top level competitor to they were like rolling a ball at him. And he was like, he looked at me like he was embarrassed. I said, "Can I try something?" And I took 2 of their pool noodles that they use for like the water rehab. I cut it in half, and his hands could barely form a fist. And I said, "Jab, jab, cross, hook." Everybody stopped the rehab they were doing in this big Jackson Hospital therapy. They rolled their wheelchairs over. The therapist came over. They were cheering for us. Man, it was unbelievable. And that's accidentally how Boxability started. And since then, my private students have been so nice. They give us the money to have the equipment, to pay for airfare, hotel, so I can go travel around and teach our system how to do it, and leave with the therapist so they can continue, leave with the parents and the siblings so they can continue. So anyone out there that we really we're not looking for money, actually, like most charities. We're actually looking for um, uh, like therapy hospitals or orphanages or abused women's centers, or anybody that boxing could lift up their spirits. Anybody that we will come for as long as it's a large enough group, we'll fly in, we'll put ourselves up, we'll bring the equipment. Any of the equipment people out there, we could always use free equipment, but because we give them the stuff to take home and practice with. But if there's anybody just down and out on any kind of level, we'll fly in and teach them boxing drills and skills that they can have and keep with them and use for the rest of their life.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, then we'll keep our ears open for sure.
Yeah, that'd be great. Any help would be great.
Thank you so much for coming on, Dino. I know you got to put your child to bed soon.
Yeah, we're falling asleep early. We're still we're still got jet lag.
In Thailand time.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Give us a call. You got anything coming up you want to talk about? Just we're always
just anyone can come down to the Fifth Street Gym on their vacation. If they live there, they can always come try for free, and it's very welcoming. My 80-year-old mother trains every day. My 7-year-old daughter trains, and everybody in between. So everybody's welcome. You can do nothing but like a big fitness boxing class. You can spar. We have regular Joes. Muhammad Ali set the precedent. He would spar all the time with regular guys just to get in there and play with them. And our pros, I require actually our pros to do the same thing. Give them the experience. let them say they were in the ring for a few minutes with with the middleweight champion of the world.
Yeah.
Don't be a jerk about it. Don't think you're too much, because if it's good enough for Muhammad, it's good enough for you. So we still have that attitude. Everybody's always welcome. We got Nick. Everyone can look out for Nikolai Schwab. He's fighting November 2nd with CES at the Mohegan Sun. And we're just very excited about the whole thing. So I hope to see everyone in Mohegan Sun. It'll be fun.
All right. Good stuff, Dino, man.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Good stuff.
Thanks
All right.
again.
Keep in
so
touch,
much.
guys. I'll see you soon.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
You got it. Take
Ciao
care,
for
dude.
now. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Yeah, Matt. So, we got a bunch of events coming up. Like we said before, Canelo Belenga. Dino predicted 7th round.
Yes, he did.
We have the Hard Rock this Friday. We have an event. Howard Davis Jr.'s fighting for BKFC number 66. He's fighting James Brown. Justin Ibarola's fighting. He's fighting
Friday night or Saturday?
Friday. Jeremy Smith is fighting Steve Townsend, but two guys that we both know. Fames is fighting on the card. Fames was supposed. I saw that Fames was going to fight Palomino.
Yeah.
But that I don't know what happened with that. But he's fighting this guy named Jim Polgar. So they're at the Hard Rock. Howard Davis, of course, he's fighting James Brown. And I saw Zordo's fighting Billam Smith for Golden Boy.
Yeah, Chris Billam Smith. Yeah, that's Zerto got himself in a good position there after he lost to Bivol, and but now he's like the best in the division.
Yeah,
Bivol moved up,
and then the same night as the Canelo fight, there's the UFC, and Sugar Shane O'Malley was saying they quoted him. I'm fighting the number one guy on a 10-fight win streak. Canelo's fighting who? So I mean, it's some competition. I remember Canelo was waiting for the UFC to be over the last time that he was sitting down in the couch. You remember?
Yeah.
They're waiting for the UFC main event to be over before they started theirs.
Yeah, he didn't want his fight to go coincide with that one.
Yeah.
But look, I'm not paying $90 to watch Canelo versus Berlanga, and I like Berlanga.
Yeah,
we met Berlanga. He's a good guy. Big Canelo fan always, but I'm not paying $90 for that. I refuse.
Yeah,
I'll go watch it somewhere, or if we have a party or something and everyone wants to chip in. But $90 for that fight, they got nerve.
Yeah, and Lucas Rosa is fighting this weekend, so watch that.
I'd rather pay $90 to see Lucas Rosa fight, to be honest with you.
Yeah, well, he's 4-0, undefeated as a pro, so look out for him. And thanks all for tuning in every Tuesday. We're going to be doing this live, and stay tuned. Big things. Follow The Fighting News on YouTube at The Fighting News. Follow The Fighting News. Yeah, I'll even put it up here.
Where's you see the dog in the back? Come here, dog.
Follow all the platforms. The Fighting News on Twitter. The Fighting News on Facebook. The Fighting News on YouTube. Instagram. There's the dog.
There's Gracie. Say hi to Gracie, everyone.
And TikTok. There you go.
Gracie is a star now. Yeah, so we got some guests lined up, some in the works, but we're keeping it under wraps for now.
Yeah. Thank you so much for tuning in. Check us out at all those platforms. Like, comment, subscribe,
And all that stuff.
all that stuff.
All right. Good night.
Deuces.
Cut.